I don't cut you too, brother. No, he's right. He's right. But see, what he's misunderstanding is that the Africans that put our people in slavery, they're a different race of people.
They're a different race of people. Those are the Hamites.
There's no way about that.
Those are Hamites. Because he thinks that we're Africans.
Yeah.
He's saying all that. We're Africans. We're not Africans.
I don't know where they get Africa from, man.
I don't know where they get.
Oh, it's Africa or black people, man.
We're not Africans.
Three tribes that are black, and the rest, man. How about that? The other African, none of them, man.
Because our people think that we're Africans. The Ghanaians and the Nigerians, they think they're African. We're not Africans. You migrated to the continent of Africa because of Roman persecution. You should know that. If you're Nigerian, if you're Yoruba, or you should know that. Because my dad's Nigerian. And in Idoma, Benue State, we know that we're Israelites. We know that because we're in Africa because of Roman persecution. Even in Igbo, in Lagos, they know that. Where are you from, sir? You don't mind me asking. You're from Nigeria? From what part of Nigeria? Edo State. Okay, so you should know you're an Israelite. You should know that.
Of course I know.
So they taught that. They taught that in school. They taught that. Even my little cousin in
You know what? Don't believe anything you hear. Believe half of what you see, fam.
Allah is the Hebrew way of saying God.
It's not as true.
And that's one thing we were talking about. We were saying that Allah, that's just the Hebrew. Allah is a Hebrew word, which just means God. Allah just means God, man.
What's the name of it though?
And what is the name of Allah? The name of Allah is Yahweh. That's the name. And when you see the word Lord in capital letters in the Bible, the word there, when you translate into the ancient Hebrew, the word there is Yahweh. So you might see Jehovah, but there's no J in the ancient Hebrew. So, but the word there is Yahweh. Yahweh.
That's the be or
okay.
Exists.
So what we're teaching is not religion. Basically, what we're teaching is culture, is identity, language. Our people had language. Okay, we are a people of laws and holy customs.
I like that.
You know, that separate us from the paganistic customs of other races of people. That's what made us separate. That's why other nations of people found us like a pest, because they wanted to rule over us. They wanted to have their own utopia of their own way, and everyone following their way. And we were people that said, no, we've got our own way. We've got our own laws and customs that we follow. You know, that's why the Romans, they didn't like it. Romans, they didn't like the fact that they wanted to rule all people and have all people follow their way. And we were the only people that said, no, we've got our own laws and customs, our own holy Sabbath days that we follow, you know. You got something?
Yeah, I got something, because you spoke about how this is a heritage and this is a culture.
That's what it is, man. This is identity. Our people don't have no identity. We think we're Africans, we think we're Egyptians, we think we're Muslims. We're abandoning what we are and trying to follow the power systems of other races of people. Trying to be white, trying to speak. Like, I was watching the news. I watched the news. I saw the only way to come. You guys on the foul. I'm watching the news and I'm seeing like brothers from like West Africa being news and you can see they like speaking the white man's English. They love it. They love yes, today on BBC News. You know, we have today our forecaster. You know, they love speaking the white man's English. They love it, man. You know, and it's painful. You know, inside to see that our people, that's how they hate this. They hate themselves and they love the oppressor. But anyway, go ahead, man.
Yeah, this is
it's not good. Go ahead.
This is Jeremiah 17, verse 4. It says, and thou even thyself shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
That's what happened. Go ahead.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in a land which thou knowest not.
And that's what happened. That's what happened. You had the transatlantic slave trade. And not even just that. You have our people in East India right now called the Dalits. They're being looked down upon by the actual East Indians in that land. They're being persecuted. They're called the untouchables. Can you believe it? These other nations are calling us untouchable, that we're dirty, that we're filthy. They look down on us. These other nations, they're our servants, but our servants are ruling over us. We're royalty. A royal people is supposed to have servants. How can you call yourself a king and have no servants? Okay? The scriptures say that we would discontinue from our heritage, man. And so now our heritage was meant to be the children, the sons of the Most High. The word Israel means Yah, Shah, Allah. Yah meaning he, Shah, prince, Allah, God. He is a prince of God. The prince is a son of a king. So basically, he is a son of the Most High. Our heritage was meant to be sons of God. Because when you go into Daniel chapter 7, Daniel saw the Most High in a vision, and he saw get that Daniel 7 verse 9. Just hold it right here. No. Because the son is meant to be the spirit image of the Father. Part of coming to our heritage, to our culture, is knowing that our Father looks just like us, man. Even though he's a spirit, he's the great spirit. Okay, but he's also a black man. Go ahead.
So Daniel 7 and 9. And I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit.
The Ancient of Days, that's the Most High, man.
Whose garment was white as snow.
His garment was white as snow.
And the hair of his head like the pure wool.
The hair of his head was like the pure wool.
His throne was like a fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire.
Continue.
A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousand ministered unto him.
Israelite, man, the kingdom is for you.
Yeah, the kingdom is. You gotta repent, brother.
You gotta repent, man.
Thank you, man. Alright, man.
You know? Go ahead, man, read on.
A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousand ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him.
So he's got an army, man. He's got the Most High got an army. You see them great kings? They had thousands upon thousands of troops. And all those troops was at his disposal. He could command legions of men, man. Captains over 50s, captains over hundreds of thousands. The Most High's got an army in the fourth dimension, man. In the third heavens, man. The Israelites. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that.
The judgment was set, and the books were opened, and I beheld them because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. And I beheld till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame.
And because that little horn, that's the enemy of the Most High, man. That little horn right there. And you see it more, man. You see how these other nations, they're the enemies of the Most High. They're not thinking about the Most High. They're not waiting for the Most High. They've got their own plans. These other nations, they've got their own fucking plans, man. America has its own plans. Donald Trump has his own plans, man. The elites, they have their own plans, man. Putin has their own plans. They're all thinking about what they're gonna do, what greatness they're gonna achieve. Okay, status that they want to acquire in the world, the riches and dominion that they plan to have for themselves, man. They're not thinking about the Most High. They don't want the Most High. They don't want the Most High to come on earth, man. Okay, and the kingdom of the Lord be on earth. They don't want that. So that's why I said the little horn, that the words that the great horn spake. Because they're speaking some great nasty words now, man. LGBT.
The Psalms, the second chapter you have.
I got that right now.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, this is Psalms 2, verse 1. Why do the heathen range and the people imagine a vain thing? And Salaki, the kings of the earth set themselves. The rulers take counsels together against the Lord, like you were saying, brother, and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us.
Exactly, because they don't want to be servants, man. They don't want to play the part as servants. They want to be rulers and governors and lords over us, man. These other nations, they don't want to play out their part and their lot in existence, man. Because if that's the case, they're going to have to say, yeah, Putin's going to have to come on board and say, niggas us, man, and be ruling over us, man. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have to come out. They're gonna have to come out. The Chinese, they're gonna have to bring all their gifts and come to the ghettos in America. and then give all and say and go to they'll see a little nigga in the corner with some weed, and then the Putin will go to him and say bow down, and the nigga will be like, what the fuck? And then you know what I'm saying? He said, well, I got Putin, hey yo man, I got Putin just bowing down to me, yo. You know what I'm saying?
That's saying for you.
You know what I'm saying? So,
well, if he knew who Putin was, a lot of niggas don't know.
Because that's what the scriptures say on. A lot of niggas don't know who Putin is.
Especially the Negroes in America. They bug out.
You know, so that's why I said they want to break their chords and their bands, man. Because a chord and a band, when you use your chord for a band, you use them to tie them up and to bound them, man. Pin them down, you constrain somebody, man. Confine somebody. You know what I'm trying to say? To enslave them almost, man. Okay? And the other nations, they ain't trying to be like that. They're talking about what they're gonna do, greatness that they're gonna do, man. Okay? And you see it playing out on the news. You see all these nations, they're in a rage, man. You know, they're arguing, you know, they're sanctioning one another. They got their suits and their ties, you know, they're walking around proud and shit. And they're all these, and bear in mind, all these people are meant to be our servants, man.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But they're walking around suit and tied up, suit and booed, you know, with their politicians and their MPs.
And some of them live in
Labour
palaces.
parties. You know what I'm saying? Their Labour parties, you know, showing off their missiles, showing off their different war engines, man. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it says, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh.
And then Mosai's laughing, man. Mosai's seeing these little grasshoppers talking their dirt. And he's like, they got no idea what's coming around the corner for them, man. You know what I'm saying? Seeing the little goose. Let's see little goose and thinking, who the hell you think you are, man? You got some fucking nerve, man, walking around, you know, like you're gonna do something, man.
The Mongoloids.
You know, so the Lord's gonna show you about ninjutsu, man.
Right. And it says, and the Lord shall have them in derision.
Yeah.
Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath.
The Lord's gonna conversate with you nations, man. He's gonna come down. He's not gonna bring no paperwork. He's not gonna bring the heavenly paperwork to the tables, man. He's gonna bring according to
paperwork.
Yeah, exactly. He's not gonna come to your EU meetings and present himself. You know what I'm trying to say? Yahweh Shai is not going to do that. The Most High is going to send Yahweh Shai and the holy angels to annihilate your armies, man. That's how the Lord is going to speak to other nations. I told you that in 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter.
And Daniel's 2 too.
Come on.
That little stone.
Right. Come on, man.
And it says, then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sword the pleasure.
Right.
Yet I have set my king upon my holy hill of Zion, and I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance.
That shows you that the Most High don't look at the heathens as though they're anything, man.
They're not
heathens trying to get repentance. The repentance wasn't given to you. The Lord didn't come and die for none of y'all, man. Okay? Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, man. So the Lord is saying, ask me, and I will give you these people for yourself. So the Lord doesn't look at these people as though they're anything.
Well, he said it in what is it, Isaiah 46.
Small drop of a bucket. Less than nothing.
The fact he described them like spit.
Yeah,
like
that,
spit.
That alone says
that's damn, man. That's a big difference, man. I got gold and I got spit. You know, that's the difference the Heavenly Father put on us and them, man. Spit and gold, man. Do you know what I'm saying? A brick of gold and spit.
There's no comparison.
Do you know what I'm saying?
There's no comparison.
That's a big gap, bro.
That's a gap and a half, man. That's something else right there, man.
That's a gap, man. Imagine that you living your whole life knowing that you ain't shit.
Yeah.
Man, that's why I can see why these other. That's why you know that Baptist that Edomite that came out, that Baptist Edomite. I can see why he started dissing my art, because he probably lost hope, man. That Edomite probably lost fucking hope. He probably think that the only way to get back or feel like he has some type of power is by insulting my art, man. That's the only way he felt like he empowered, because he's probably seen our videos. And seen through the scriptures that he's condemned.
And he's a nobody.
Yeah, he ain't nothing, man.
Did you finish with that?
Yeah, one more verse, and that's why.
Yeah, finish that and get that going.
Okay. Oh, okay. This is Isaiah 40, verse 15.
Did you finish with that verse?
Now, this is a precept. And I'm going to get back to that. This is Isaiah 40, verse 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket.
Damn, man.
And are counted as a small dust. Right? And it says, where was that? It was 15, right? The small dust of the balance, and behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beasts thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and are vanity. That's out of the word of God.
And that's something that these plantation Christianity niggas they can't accept that, man. That's too much. They can't, because they've been taught that the other nations can be saved and they do have a part in it. But when they hear something like that just goes beyond them, man. They can't perceive that the Most High, the same God that they've been believing in all this time, actually doesn't really give a shit about none of them, man.
God, that blows them away.
That kind of blows them, and they can't accept that. They can figure that can't be true. That can't be. That's how they see it. It can't be true. That's how they see it. A drop of a bucket. If you carry a big old bucket, the one drop part, you don't even recognize that drop that came out the bucket, man. Yeah, you just keep walking, man. Because you're thinking about all the rest of the water that's inside the bucket. That one little drop. You ain't trying to gather that. You ain't, oh shit, that one drop. You care about that drop, man. Okay? So the Most High don't care about your nation. It's all about his people. That's why when you go to the Old Testament, it's always about his relationship between himself and those same people. He chose those people to put his love on them. And it's just like a big love story of how Israel has kept committing adultery against their husband. It's like a love story. When you look at the Old Testament. It's a big story of how Israel has kept going off, and the Most High having such a love for these people that he would redeem them unto himself one last time. Oh, y'all Israelites, man. I don't know about you. You're Israelites though. You're Israelites. You're Judites. But they ain't right. They ain't right. But they're of the world, man. They say you'll be teaching our people to repent from all these failures. You're teaching our people to repent.
How you gonna smack that girl behind like that? That's a lesbian.
Did that?
Yeah. She smacked him behind. That's why brothers, man, we gotta just ignore these Negroes, man. Just keep teaching the doctrine, man. You don't fuck with them. Cause they gone, man. They gone. Yeah, they messed up.
And that's why, see what you just said there is, yeah? That's why John 3 verse 16, for God to love the world, man. Not because, not the whole world, like you said, they love-hate relationship. That you have to send the son in it.
Which the world is talking about Israel, of course.
Yeah, let me get,
The Bible it's mysteries, but ain't no mystery to me, man. It was plain when there ain't no mystery to me. When I first heard it was plain as day. When you tell it to a nigga can't get it, man.
You say ain't no mystery to me.
I got something for you.
You want to go ahead?
I said Deuteronomy 7 and 6, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power, and the Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for you were fewest of all people, but because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, and the Lord have brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt.
See, I like that, man. That shows that the Most High is deep, man. Because it said that he didn't choose us because we were the greatest in number, because we were the fewest. That you as a brother, right, you walk into a room full of ladies, yeah? And then you see one girl, you see the rest of them all paintings, pengalings, yeah? You see a little thing over there, but she's not as voluptuous But you like her because she's got humility about her.
She's got heart.
The sincerity. So you're thinking more deep. You're thinking she might not have as much as them, but she might have character. So she could be the mother of my kids because she's got humility. She might be more motherly.
Well, you know,
You're looking at the certain characteristics that she might have about her. The other ones, they trust in their breast, they trust in their booty, and you're thinking, so what? Like, I'm trying to. So you step over to the small thing, you know, because of that. He said that the Lord didn't set His love upon us because we were the most, because we had the greatest riches and the greatest military, you know what I'm saying, and covered the most lands. He said He loved us because we had humility. Because when Abraham traveled, he wasn't proud and shit, man. He was humble.
and he had everything, man.
He had everything, but he was humble. When he went into the land of the Egyptians, he was like, yo, Sarah, man, you gotta tell these people, yeah, that's my sister. Don't tell them you're my wife, because if they tell you that, if they find out you're my wife, they're gonna kill me, they're gonna take you. So that was humility. Even though we were the fewest, we had humility. You know what I'm saying? We had our discretion. That's discretion. You know what I'm trying to say? So the Lord looked at us because we had these characteristics, man. We had these honorable characteristics about us. I said, yo, I'm gonna put my love on these people, and I'm gonna bless them, man. I'm gonna bless them. So read that part, read that again, man. I like that, man. And these are things that our people should be reading on, man. You know, this is their history. This should be the comfort, that their comfort with.
They don't know that.
But they don't know it, man. That's a hidden thing.
Deuteronomy 7:7. The Lord did not set His love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for ye were fewest of all people, but because the Lord loved you, and because He would keep the oath which He had sworn unto your fathers.
And usually it's the small things that matter, man. It's the small things that are the most valuable. Because women outnumber men, right? The more you have of something, it's the less valuable it is. And the less you have of something, it's the more rarer. More rare it is, therefore the more expensive, the more valuable.